What's up guys, Mixed by Jocelyn here, back with another video on Mixed Up, and today we've got a special one. We're going to be looking at the new upgrade to Orange Clip. It's now called Orange Clip 3 by Schwab Digital. Let's check it out. Boom. Okay guys, so as you can see here, I've got Orange Clip loaded up. Orange Clip 3 as it's now known as. And as you can see from the interface, it looks pretty similar from my last video, which I have linked below, which breaks down sort of like the plugin as a whole, how it sounds, because it is an amazing sounding clipper. It's one of the best sounding clippers on the market. I would say the only other one that really compares to it that I use a lot is another one by Schwab Digital, which is the Gold Clip. I have a video on that as well, which I'll link below. But basically, you know, Schwab Digital makes brilliant plugins and brilliant clippers. But what they've done with this upgrade is insane. They've given us so much flexibility and allowed us to really take clipping in a whole nother way and be so creative with it. So, as I said, the standard interface, nothing much has really changed. You have your input, you have your ceiling, the amount of clipping, you have the orange dial here, which is basically hard or soft clipping. Right at the bottom here, it's soft clipping. All the way at 0, it's as hard as it's gonna go. But yeah, and then you can obviously do a blend in the middle. And then you have wet and dry, and then your output. Can all be linked, which is super nice. And then you have oversampling as always, but he's slightly changed it. So it's all in one click now. So we can set the real-time oversample, and then we can click here and set the offline oversample, which is nice. So we can have like a slightly lower oversample in real time, and then a higher one on our output, just to save our CPU so our computers aren't flying off into the stratosphere when we're trying to work. And then we have our phasing options: minimal phase, linear phase, and then we also have here with true phase and Q linear phase, which from what Ryan Schwab has told me, true linear phase is obviously true linear phase as it is, and then Q linear phase is a slightly different type of phasing, and he described it as more of like an analog style phasing. So you can test those sounds out and see which one you prefer. He did say that, you know, the more you push into this, the more likelihood of getting some phasing artifacts through is possible in the alternative of using the true linear phasing. But the most exciting new thing about this plugin, and one of the reasons why I was super excited when he told me about it, is the multi-band function. So now not only can we use this great sounding clipper on our music, but we now also have the flexibility and the creativity to use it in a multi-band format. So when you click this function, you get this overlay popping up, which basically gives us a 3-band clipper, which has loads and loads of flexibility. So just to break it down, obviously these are our clipping lines, so like our ceiling lines. So as we pull these down, we're gonna essentially get more clipping, and they're split into low frequency, mid frequency, and high frequency. Now we have the flexibility here on these dials to change the crossover, so where that is. So right now, as default, it's set to 125 Hertz for the low end, and then in the mid range, it'll be 125 Hertz to 4K, and then 4K up to, you know, obviously the maximum that it goes up to 20K or whatever it is. But you can change these and dial this in, which is really, really useful. And then next to it, you have these dials here. These are essentially the curvature of each band. So if I pull this down, you can see here, that's really hard clipping, and I can soften each of that up with each band. So full flexibility when it comes to the style of the clipping and how we're clipping each band. And then here we have like essentially like the gain or the drive function. So they're all set at like standard 0 dB, but we'll be able to pull them down and pull them up, giving us even more flexibility and re-sculpting the sound that we're clipping, which is very, very, very cool. And then we have solo buttons as well, which is really cool. Now we can actually turn off all these bands as well. So if we just want to use the multi-band, we can hit Command and turn off the main clipper. So now this main clipper that's clipping the overall band is not on, and we're only going to be using these multi-bands. And then we can also turn off the individual multi-bands as well. And the reason why I think this is very, very, very cool is because I've been using a technique recently on my 808s, where I've been clipping the low mid frequencies, leaving the low end alone or clipping it in a slightly different way, but really driving the low mid frequencies to create some aggression and top end. Now, having this, being able to do this all in one feature without having to send buses and filters and EQs and stuff like that makes it very, very exciting for me. So with that being said, let's have a quick dive into doing that technique, and then we'll look in at the end, throwing it on the master bus and hearing how it sounds. So I've got this record up here already, which is Green Light by DJ KY's featuring Buju Banton and Black Sheriff. It's out now. It will be linked below. You can check it out. It's a great song. But we're gonna run it on this 808 and we're gonna have a listen, and I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna demonstrate the technique that I'm talking about. So this is the 808 clean with the processing that I had in the mix when it was released. I'm just gonna add orange clip to it and we're gonna bypass it. Okay, so now let's pull up the multi-band function, and what I'm gonna do straight away, I'm gonna turn off the main band and I'm gonna turn off the low end and I'm gonna turn off the high end, and we're just gonna focus in on this mid band here. And we're gonna pull this mid band down and we're gonna start to hopefully get some clipping. So you can hear straight away that mid top end of the 808 is starting to really clip and be quite aggressive. And then these numbers here underneath the frequency band is basically the wet and dry signal. So right now it's 100% wet, and then we can create a blend of it. So I'm gonna pull it down. You can think of this as like a percentage, like 100% wet, and then we can pull it down. So let's try like 50% around that number and hear what that sounds. So it's gonna be 50% dry, 50% clipped mid band signal only. Soften the clip a little bit. Wow. Let's up the frequency. So I've softened the clipper, and then let's up the mix. Here it's soloed. Just that clip frequency. I mean, the technique that I was using before, it sounds just as good, and it's so much more simple now. All in one plugin, it's all there ready to go. And as I said, the orange clip sounds great. Let's bring in the low end and add a little bit of clipping to the low end of the 808 as well. So to do that, we're gonna hit Command and then turn on this low band frequency, and we'll drag down and start clipping this low end. As you can see, these bands here, as they turn orange, that's basically the amount of clipping you're getting from that signal. So obviously up here, we're not getting any clipping. These are the peaks of individual bands. So as soon as we start going down here, then we're gonna start to get some clipping from the signal. You can hear a big difference just by turning these dials back a bit from the aggression and the extremeness of the clipper. Like, having that level of control is so, so, so good. And we'll just A/B this. Off. On. And then let's hear it in context with the music.
When we bound you with you and your crew and all we've been through, you know no respect for you, we have no respect for you. Jamaican man are able, hear me, do just what you gotta. When we bound you with you and your crew and all we've been through, you know no respect for you, we have no respect for you. Jamaican man are able, hear me, do just what you gotta. When we bound you with you and your crew and all we've been through, you know no respect for you, we have no respect for you. Jamaican man are able, hear me, do just what you gotta. When we bound you with you and your crew and all we've been through, you know no respect for you.
I mean, that sounds crazy. I absolutely love it. I just wanted to show you with the multiband that particular technique because it's something that I was actually going to make a whole video on anyway, like filtering and using a bus to create like a filtered mid-low end 808 clipping madness just to get the aggression out of it, but without having to overclip and clip like the whole track. But Ryan obviously read my mind and delivered this, so incredible. And you can think that's just like one possibility you can use a multiband clipper for. Like this is a bit more of a creative thing, but the flexibility it gives you and the amount of options you have is insane. So let's just have another listen whilst we're here to what it sounds like on my master output with the overall track. So I have it up here, and then let's just leave these multibands alone and just listen to it as a whole, as a clipper.
When we bound you with you and your crew and all we've been through, you know, no respect for you, we got no respect for you. Jamaican man or Igbo, hear me? Do just what you gotta do. When we bound you with you and your crew and all we've been through, you know, no respect for you, we got no respect for you. Jamaican man or Igbo, hear me? Do just what you gotta do. When we bound you with you and your
slightly softer clip.
when we bound you with you and your crew and all we've been through, you know, no respect for you, we got no respect for you. Jamaican man or Igbo, hear me? Do just what you gotta do.
Soft clip.
When we bound you with you and your crew and all we've been through, you know, no respect for you, we got no respect for you. Jamaican man or Igbo, hear me? Do just what you
Q linear.
when we bound you with you and your crew and all we've been through, you know, no respect for you, we got no respect for you. Jamaican man or Igbo, hear me? Do just what you gotta do. When we bound you with you and your crew and all we've been through, you know, no respect for you, we got no respect for you. Jamaican man or Igbo, hear me? Do just what you gotta do. When we bound you with you and your crew and all we've been through, you know, no respect for you, we got no respect for you. Jamaican man or Igbo, hear me? Do just
It sounds so dope. So let's do like a small bit of like overall band clipping, like just a touch going into the master, and then let's pull up this multiband and do some adjustments and see if we can get like a nice sounding master clipper.
when we bound you with you and your crew and all we've been through, you know, no respect for you, we got no respect for you. Jamaican man or Igbo, hear me? Do just what you gotta do. When we bound you with you and your crew and all we've been through, you know, no respect for you, we got no respect for you. Jamaican man or Igbo, hear me? Do just what you gotta do. When we bound you with you and your crew and all we've been through, you know, no respect for you, we got no respect for you. Jamaican man or Igbo, hear me? Do just what you gotta do. When we bound you with you and your crew and all we've been through, you know, no respect for you, we got no respect for you. Jamaican man or Igbo, hear me? Do just what you gotta do. When we bound you with you and your crew and all we've been through, you know, no respect for you, we got no respect for you. Jamaican man or Igbo, hear me? Do just what you gotta do. When we bound you with you and your crew and all we've been through, you know, no respect for you, we got no respect.
Okay, let's A-B that.
When we bound you with you and your crew and all we've been through, you know, no respect for you, we got no respect for you. Jamaican man or Igbo, hear me? Do just what you gotta do. When we bound you with you and your crew and all we've been through, you know, no respect for you, we got no respect for you. Jamaican man or Igbo, hear me? Do just what you
The life and the character that it's bringing to the song, especially on the low end, without like totally distorting it and like, you know, I'm not even hearing it like fully affecting my vocals, which sometimes when you're clipping on your master, like, you know, you can squash and like crush some of the vocals, but it just sounds amazing. Like, and as I said, the flexibility of having this multiband is crazy. Orange Clip went from being like one of the best clippers on the market, in my opinion, to undeniably being the best clipper on the market now. Having this flexibility and control is just, yeah, unparalleled. It's an amazing, amazing tool. Schwab Digital and Ryan Schwab have knocked it out of the park 110%. I'm so glad that I got to show you guys that technique with the 808 that I've been using. Please try it out for yourself. Let me know what you think in the comments. And on that note, make sure you like and subscribe. The Orange Clip will be linked below, so you guys can go and check it out and purchase it. Can't recommend it enough. Make sure you leave any comments if you have any questions below. Go follow Ryan Schwab and Schwab Digital. They're making great content. Sign up to his newsletter as well. They've got a brilliant newsletter where he's just giving pure facts of mastering information and using tools like clippers and things like that and EQs. Like he is a super clever guy, and his content is amazing. So go and check that out. Like, you know, it's as the standard of the plugins, you know, it goes across the board with his whole brand. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you give this video a like, and make sure you subscribe as well, because we're releasing videos like this weekly. And on that note, big up Ryan Schwab, big up Schwab Digital, big up Orange Clip. It sounds dope, it sounds amazing, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Safe. Boom.